One moment. Counselors, is this a CARES Act or multifamily protected property?
It is not, Your Honor. This is a standard non-payment case.
All the items in the form of judgment true and correct, best your knowledge and belief.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're seeking a little over $5,075 in rent, $200 in late fees, $153 in costs and attorney's fees.
Yes, that's correct.
Bobby Albrechtson, are you on the line? Final call. Court having reviewed the form of judgment in this matter, also noting the defendant having failed to appear or respond. Judgment will be entered writ on the 22nd of this month. Any other matters, Counselor?
None, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Norton Carno, trustee of Artist Trust, dated March 27, 1986, DBA Casa Sol Vida. Kylie Rollins, Andre Delaretto, CC 2024-101797. And Mr. Zinman, you're here representing the plaintiff, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, make standard of house.
And Kylie?
Yes.
That's you? All right. And Audra?
Yes.
That's you? All right, Mr. Zinman, tell us why we're here, please.
Your Honor, this case is a material and irreparable breach. The allegation is that the defendant or a guest in their unit shot a gun, resulting in a bullet going through the wall to the neighboring unit, up into the ceiling, into the attic, actually. The evidence here today will show that the bullet went through from the defendant's unit. There was no other bullet hole going into their unit. Therefore, it must have started from their unit. There was not another entry point. And then also, evidence will show that they've also pasted over and patched the work wall as well to hide the issue. But we have pictures to demonstrate to the court where the witnesses testified regarding the inside of the hole showing from the other unit where the bullet actually came out, showing that it came in from the defendant's unit.
All right. And you've heard the allegations. Basically, they're saying that someone in your unit shot off a weapon and it went through the unit above. Looks like the defendants have filed an answer denying, in essence, not knowing anything about the incident, right?
Yes.
Okay. The plaintiff has stated that they're ready to go to trial. So, are you ready today, or?
How long would that take? Exactly.
How long would the trial take?
Yeah. Would this be like right now?
Could be right now. Yeah.
Okay. I mean.
Do you have any witnesses you want to call, or?
No, just me and my kids, and then my co-signer. But that's all there is to it. And I have a statement ready, and I also have some other stuff, because in this judgment as well, it talks about the rent, and we had the rent ready to go.
Well, keep in mind that you may have had it, but if you were under a notice prior to trying to sign it.
There's a lot of stuff that went on throughout the leasing office and us in our end with that. That was very, in my opinion, a little shady, honestly, of what was going on, because they were accepting the rent, and then about 10 days later, they weren't accepting the rent, saying there was a court date on the 13th, and they would let their program know, because I had to ask for rental assistance, so I struggled a little bit, so I was getting that taken care of. And then about 10 days later, they said, oh, now we can't accept it. We'll let you know what happens on the hearing.
Okay.
Yeah. They were ready to accept it before it was actually even after this had all come up, when I got the initial notice on the 29th.
But they also did not make her aware of that. They told the assistance program that. That's how we found out this all came about after she went in and asked.
Well, I'm just wondering if we're going to go to trial now. I'm going to listen to everything anybody wants.
Oh, yeah, no, I am prepared for that.
All right, so you understand that if a judgment's entered, they want you out, like, now.
I understand that, yes.
All right. You're ready to go. I'm ready to listen.
Should we postpone it? or if we need more. I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
What is the latest date the trial could go if we don't do it today?
Well, what I'm looking at is you're obviously denied the allegation.
Yes, 100%.
And if it goes to trial, I imagine it would be tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
What do you think?
That we have to be out, or that's when the
You're going to
The
trial.
would be.
Oh,
And if
okay.
they manage to prevail, then it's going to be the next day anyway if it's an immediate writ.
And Your Honor, just to be clear, the defendant's just seeking additional time to vacate. If they're doing that, that may be a discussion that we could have off the record. They're
Well,
just seeking additional.
yeah, Mr. Zimmern, let me do what I want to do here, and then I'll get to you real quick, because I'm trying to figure out what they want to do. If they want more time, I'll let you know, and then maybe that can be worked out without having a trial.
No, we're here. Let's do this now.
Well, let
That's okay.
me go over a few things with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Because I want you to understand exactly what's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
You understand that if a judgment's entered today, they can get a writ of restitution as early as tomorrow.
Yes.
If you need additional time to prepare for trial, it can happen. But the latest it's probably going to go to trial is Monday, and if they work on the immediate, you're talking about Tuesday anyway for the writ. If what Mr. Zimmern just said to me, is what the direction I was going to go, because if you're planning on moving out anyway, they may give you more time than the immediate if you're willing to stipulate to a judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Sorry, I was listening.
I'm sorry, my phone was vibrating.
Okay. So if you're willing, if you're going to move out anyway and you understand the consequences, they may give you a little more time. Probably won't be a whole lot more time, but a little more time to get stuff prepared and out instead of having to do it like overnight.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
I think we should just move forward. Just move forward with it today.
Okay. I am, all right. It doesn't matter to me, but usually when people are faced with an immediate, they want the time just make sure they have enough time to get everything out. So if you're okay with that, I'm okay moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Zinman, they've expressed an interest to go trial today. They don't want additional time to try a potential resolution. And they understand the consequences that if an immediate writ is given, what those consequences are. So I'm satisfied on my end that they understand what moving forward means, and I'm willing to do the trial right now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I understand the allegations. I understand that the answer that was filed. Mr. Zinman, first witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. We'd actually like to call the defendant, Kylie Rollins.
Okay.
Hello.
Raise your right hand for me, please. Swear firm testimony you're about to give, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I swear.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Zinman.
Yes, Ms. Rollins, where were you on the day of April 27th?
April 27th? At what time?
Middle of
The
the
whole day, or?
Yes.
I believe we ran out a few times. I think I may have gone to the grocery store at one point.
And was there any point you were not at home where somebody else was?
I don't believe so. No, it was
Did
a Saturday,
anybody else
so we would have all been
access?
together.
When
No,
you
no
say
one has access.
We all would have been together. Who is we?
Me and my kids.
Is there anybody else that would have access to that unit?
Oh, well, Audra, but she was with her mom at her house.
Okay, no other persons, significant others, any other people?
No.
Did you hear a discharge of a weapon that day?
No.
Is there any gun holes in your apartment?
No.
Dude, it's your position that no gun has ever been, there's no bullet holes or holes coming through your wall into the neighboring unit of 106?
No.
And you didn't hear any guns going off that day either, is that correct?
Nope.
2 days later, did the police come to your office or your house?
No, it was that day. It was that same day, April 27th at 10 p.m. Both of my kids were sleeping.
Okay, and what did the police say?
They came and did a welfare check, asked if we were all okay, asked if we had heard anything within the last week.
Okay, and then they left, is that correct?
Resembling like a gunshot. We haven't.
Did they inspect your
unit? I haven't
unit?
heard anything. No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. I'll give you a chance when it's your turn to tell me your side. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Mr. Zinman.
Thank you. We'd like to call Nellie to the stand, the manager.
Hello.
Natalie, are you there?
Yes,
Natalie, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
State your name for the record and spell your last name for me, please.
Nellie Gomez, Gomez.
Go ahead, Mr. Zinman.
Your Honor, for sake of time, we did submit exhibits marked P1 through 59, which were emailed to the court as well as to the defendant. I would just, 1 would be the notice, 2 would be the lease, 3 would be the ledger, 4 is the pictures, and 5 is a video. I just moved the admission of all of them just to save us time unless the defendant has an objection.
All right. I'll admit them. I don't have a video or...
It would just be a link, Your Honor, but I didn't have the...
Okay. Move on.
Does the defendant have any objections?
Any objection to the exhibit?
Is that all the stuff that was sent this morning?
Yeah, it was just all the stuff that your office sent over this morning, along with pictures that were in the original summons.
Correct.
Anything? No, we're good.
All right, they're
Okay.
admitted.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Nellie, you served a notice of a material and irreparable breach to the defendants, correct?
Correct.
How did you become aware of, well, what was the basis for the notice?
The basis for the notice was that there was an emergency call to our emergency line. Maintenance answered on April 28th from Mr. Collins in apartment home 106, that there was a bullet that came through their wall into their closet up into the attic.
Okay. And did you guys go in and inspect the unit 107? And just to be clear, defendants live in unit number 107, is that correct?
That is correct.
And did you go in and inspect unit 106?
Yes, maintenance entered to inspect 106.
Okay. And what did you find? Have you been into 106 or just the maintenance?
Just maintenance.
Okay. And they're on the line as well, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Your Honor, since foundationally the other things have all been admitted, the only other question actually, Nellie, for you is, have you gone to unit number 108?
I have not.
Okay. And have you spoken to them?
I have not.
Okay. No further questions for the witness, Your Honor, since the foundation's been laid.
Do you have any questions of this witness?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Go ahead.
On Monday, what was it, April 30th, I had spoke to the property manager, which I believe is you, on the phone, and you asked me if I had gotten the notice, and then you informed me or it was Tuesday, April 30th, I spoke to you on the phone, and then you informed me on Monday, April 29th, you sent maintenance into my unit without my notice, and they took pictures of my wall, and that is the reason you gave me the notice. Is that true? Do you remember that?
We reached out to you to go ahead and enter the apartment due to the fact that it was considered an emergency.
Okay. You reached out to who, I'm sorry?
To the number on file.
What number on file? To my unit? For me?
For Kylie.
Okay, I never received a phone call. I would like to state that.
Well,
And they came into, and
not your time to test.
Okay,
You can ask
so-
her questions. You can ask her what number she called.
yeah, what number did you call?
The number was 480-601-5479.
Okay, that is, okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah, but I never received a call. That's all.
I have no further questions. We would just like to call the maintenance man next, Your Honor.
All right. Call the maintenance. What's his name?
I'm looking. Nellie, what is the maintenance man's name?
Maintenance supervisor is Gustavo.
He's on the line, correct?
Correct.
All right, Gustavo, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the record and spell your last name for me.
Gustavo Montelongo, Montelongo.
All right, thank you. Mr. Zinman?
Thank you. And on or about April 27th or 28th, did you go into unit number 106?
No. I went on, let's see. I went there on Monday, the 29th.
Okay. And what did you see when you were in there on the 29th?
Well, we noticed a patch on one of the walls. It was a clean patch. It looked like they covered a hole. And we were in the other side to unit 106. And then it matches on the same location from where the hole was in the other side.
Okay, just to be clear, I want to go back over this. You're saying the patch was in unit number 107, is that correct? The defendant's unit?
Yes.
But you had previously been in 106 where there was a hole, correct?
The same day, yes.
And what caused the hole in unit number 106?
It looked like a bullet hole.
Okay, and did you subsequently also find the bullet for that
Yes.
came through?
Yes, we did. We found
Where
it
did you find the bullet?
in the attic.
Okay, now, taking the trajectory of the bullet, you're saying it came through the wall and into the attic, is that correct? And that's where you found it?
Yes,
And how could you tell that it came from unit number 107?
because of the patch and the like the direction of the hole. And actually, we made a hole in 106 on the drywall, and you can see in the hole too.
And Your Honor, I'm directing the court to what the witness is referring to as picture, it's P58. And that is the drywall cut out of 106 looking into the unit for 107. Is that correct?
Yes,
You can actually see the damage of where the hole used to be?
yes,
Okay, but you're saying it was patched on the other side?
that's correct. Yes,
Okay, and also, in addition to the damage, the hole in the wall, was there also hole damage going into the attic as well?
yes,
So you can see the trajectory the bullet would take from 107 through 106 and up into the attic?
yes.
In your mind, is there any question that the bullet came from 107?
No,
Now, when you're in 107, was there any other holes where it came from, through 108 or anywhere else in the unit? Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Do you have any questions of the witness?
Yes. Well, where's the pictures?
Yeah. Was there any pictures taken of my unit, 107, proving that there's a patch on the wall that was submitted for evidence?
There's tons of patches.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
One at a time.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize, Your
I'll
Honor.
give each of you a chance, but
Okay.
don't talk over each other.
Okay, thank you.
Did you take any pictures of my unit, my wall, that were submitted for evidence that there's proof of this?
yes, we have. I took pictures.
They're not submitted into evidence, though.
Well, I have pictures, and what he told me, was it 57 was the, well, it looks like some of these are the same picture taken.
Can I pull this up on my email, because I have the updated one on my email
Updated what?
of this, because they submitted evidence this morning. This is the one
Okay,
we
well, you may have something different than what I have.
Okay.
No, Your Honor, what she's referring to this morning is what the court's looking at. That is the P1 through 59, I believe.
Okay, so let me be clear what she's looking up. I have a P53 that looks like a patch on a wall. What side of the wall is that on?
Your Honor, if that's with the hole on P53, that is unit number 106. I believe.
This is from
The witness can
106.
test.
All right. Now there's a patch for the witness. There's a patch on 53, and then there's a hole above it. Does he have the pictures in front of him?
Yes.
I'm looking at P53. Can you find that picture for me, please?
Just give me a second.
All right.
Okay, now I can see the pictures. I have access.
Oh. So P53, there's a patch on the wall and there's a hole above it. You
Okay.
see that?
Yes,
And what side of the wall is that from?
that's in 106.
106?
Yes,
Then you have P51. Do you have that?
yes.
Where is that hole?
That one is in 106 too.
This one's also in 106?
Yes.
Did you take any pictures from unit 107?
Yes.
Which pictures did you take in 107?
The ones where they did the patch.
Give me the number.
I don't think they're in the packet, Your Honor. We just got those this morning.
Then I don't have them and I can't consider them. All right.
Yeah, just his testimony, Your Honor.
So what you provided, Mr. Zimmern, are photographs from 106.
As well as you can see, Your Honor, in the pictures, the damage coming through from 107 when it is cut out as well.
Well, I can tell where the damage came from by the way the hole is, but I just want to make sure these pictures are from 106.
That is correct.
And from what you're telling me, Mr. Gustav, is that on the other side of that hole, in picture 57 and 51, is unit 107.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, which one did you say was 107?
No, he said none of these pictures that I have are from 107. Yeah. What I asked him is where, he said these photographs were from 106, and what I asked is 107 on the other side of these holes, and he told me they were. Because what I'm looking at is P51, just the way that damage is, I can tell just by the hole is that it came through the wall because of the way the drywall is. Anyway.
And Your Honor, I think I can answer that. Thank you. And so the question is, unit 106 is the end unit, is that correct?
Yes.
So the only unit that attaches to is to unit 107, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Do you have any questions of the maintenance man?
No.
And Your Honor, we do I believe the witnesses from 106 on the line as well.
Okay, what's their name?
They can announce themselves. I don't have it in front of me, Your Honor.
Yeah, my name is Colin Howell.
Sir, do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
State your name for the record and spell your last name for me, please.
Colin Howell, last name Howell.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Zinman.
Thank you. So were you home when the bullet went through your unit?
Negative. I was outside of the house. I was visiting family back home in Henderson, Nevada, and my roommates were out of the house at the time. We did not come across the bullet hole until April 27th when we made the calls and when the police got involved.
Okay, so that's you returned home and found the holes in the walls. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's what did you do at that time?
I immediately dispatched a police officer, and that's why the police officer went to her house at 10 p.m. And then the police officers checked the trajectory of the bullet. They knocked on their door, and the witness said that, or the people that were living in Unit 107 said they didn't know anything about a gun. And because it had happened while I was out of town, police could not get involved because it was not a live shooting that happened at the time. So the police officers said I had to get maintenance and my townhome management company involved, and that's exactly what I did. And that's why maintenance came on Monday to deal with the situation.
Okay, so there's obviously a question, and you mentioned also the trajectory.
Correct.
Where is your unit compared to 107?
My unit is the end unit, like you said earlier in this meeting. I'm unit 106. I'm the end near the street, and 107 is to the left of me if you're facing the garage. If you're facing the front door, it's to the right.
So based on...
Go ahead, sorry.
Based on where can you describe generally to the court, obviously the judge isn't sitting in your apartment, but can you describe generally where the apartment is in terms of where the bullet came through and where you believe that bullet came from?
Well, I had to piece together the puzzle because there was a hole in the ceiling and my clothes were covering the bullet hole. The trajectory looked as if the apartment next to me was standing on their stair steps or at the bottom of their stairs and shot into the ceiling of my apartment. There's absolutely no way, based off of what the police report number said, there's no way that bullet could have gone any other trajectory other than if they were standing in their unit and shooting through my unit.
Okay, so it came through their wall into yours and then into your attic. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there any doubt in your mind that that bullet came through unit 107?
Not at all.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Can I submit something myself?
Nope.
Please.
Question?
No.
I'll just follow up. What is it that you wanted to submit?
I would like to submit that there has been multiple police report numbers associated with this case. We have called police for domestic violence. We've called police for family fights, disturbances.
No.
Sorry.
Nothing to do with this case.
You need to sit clear right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And subject to rebuttal, the plaintiff rests.
All right. Ms. Rollins, what do you want to tell me?
So on Friday, April 26th, me and my kids had gone into the office because I needed rental assistance. And that I am mentioning this because in the judgment that I got, it also states about rent. So this is why I'm mentioning this. Asking if they could fill out a W-9 for rental assistance, and they agreed, and we're in communications with the jobs program to get the rent check sorted out and where it could be sent so it could process faster. On Saturday, April 27th, around 10 p.m., Mesa PD came to my unit to do a welfare check and asked us questions. They asked us if we had any firearms in the house. We stated no, because, I don't. I have 2 kids. I don't want a firearm near my kids, so I do not have any. And they also asked us if we could come look around, but I declined because my kids were sleeping. And they respected that and left it at that. It more seemed like they were going from door to door asking if they had heard anything. They had asked us within the past week if we had heard anything related to a gunshot. I haven't. So that's where that left off there. And then on April 29th, I had some errands to run around 11 a.m. and returned to my house around 1:30 or 2. And around 3 p.m., I had called the leasing office to ask if they had made any progress with the jobs program through the rental assistance. The lady that answered the phone, I'm not sure of her name, in the leasing office, said she had no idea, but the property manager had to speak to me and would call back in 30 minutes. And so I assumed that's what that was all about with the rental assistance. She never called back on April 29th. On April 30th, at 4 p.m., a notice was slipped through the door stating that we needed to vacate the property immediately. About 10, 15 minutes later, the property manager calls me. This is the only call I got from the property that day. The property manager calls me asking if I received the notice, and I said yes and wanted to speak to her about it because it didn't make any sense. I don't have a firearm in my home, and I have heard nothing about this since when the police came, and I have no idea about this incident or what this is from. And then she mentions to me that on April 29th, while I was not home, maintenance entered without my knowledge, and she had stated earlier that she called me. I never got a call to ask to go in. And they said they looked at my walls and took pictures, stating that there was a patch over a hole that corresponded. There are multiple patches in my home, up the stairs, in my son's room, in my bedroom. My unit was never finished when I moved in, but half of the walls are still primer paint. There are patches everywhere. I don't even know what patch they're talking about. On the stairs alone, from what I've noticed since living there, there are about 3 or 4 patches on the stairs. So I don't know where this could come from. And then she also asked us to get out in 1 to 2 days, which was not possible because I do have 2 kids and I can't get all that stuff together that quickly. During this whole time, they were also in communication saying that they would take our rent. George in the office had told the jobs program where to send the check so it would go faster. On Wednesday, May 8th, we got notified the rent check was ready to be sent, and she reached out to the office and they said that they were going to refuse it, saying that there was a hearing on May 13th, which there was not a hearing on May 13th, and I also have emails going back and forth with that to show that as well. At this point, I'd still not been notified of the court date, and then on Friday, May 10th, I had been served the summons packet through the door. It got slipped through the door, and I also noticed down at the bottom of this summons that it says date, time, person served, and initials. It is initialed and signed with my initials, but I did not sign it. So whoever served it signed it for me. I wasn't even home when I got served that packet. And I have that right here if you would like to see that. And then during all of this as well, there's people going in and out of 106 all the time. It seems like there's multiple people that live there. I don't know exactly who lives there.
Objection, relevance.
I'm going to listen to it.
I have heard stuff through the walls. Everybody has heard stuff through the walls.
Keep in mind that they have a witness that wanted to tell me all the times they had to call the police on you.
Yeah.
I said no to that.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Well, then I'll leave that part out. And also, I would want to state, I don't know much about guns, and I feel like if there really was a gunshot within the complex, it's not a big complex, it would have been heard by somebody. There was no reports of a gunshot being made in our complex. Like, I feel like it would be loud. I don't own a gun. I've never touched a gun, but from what I know from videos and movies and all that, gunshots are loud. So I feel like if there really was a gunshot going through, at least somebody would have heard it and it would have been reported. I personally didn't hear anything. I am home a lot of the time. My oldest is not in school yet, and I have a two-month-old, so we sit and do stuff in the house a lot. I get them out when I can. It's a little bit of a pain with the baby, but I haven't heard anything to that. My unit has not been searched either. That's what I got on that. I think this is all a little much. Yeah, and we have no idea when it actually happened either. It says on or about 427, in or near Unit 107.
That's a general note. There's
a
notice pleading state, so they don't have to give the exact date.
But like,
at this point, keep in mind that they're not sure when it happened, other than the fact that they had the neighbor complained about it after it.
Exactly, and I'm sorry. One of the other things with that is we haven't had. There is one little hole in my wall from the door by the garage. That is the only hole that I have right now in my house, and that was the only hole that I have made. There has not been a single other hole in our unit besides nail holes. This could have happened God knows how long ago, and it's just now being reported for whatever reason. Yeah, and I also think it's odd that maintenance did come in and didn't give me notice, because in my opinion, this is an emergency. My house wasn't on fire. There wasn't floods. They should have given me at least a 48-hour notice if they were going to come in. But also, they're saying that they took pictures of my unit, of where the patch was. That is not submitted into evidence either.
It's not, and so I don't have that to look at. But if it became an issue, I certainly could make them provide it. But
yes.
Right. Anything you want to say?
Just basically that we have no idea when this happened. When it could have. And now we're finding out. I mean, I know there's like a stretch, but we're finding out that people are going in the unit with unannounced.
And keep in mind that if it's deemed an emergency, they can go in
and
try to call.
I understand that.
If someone says there's a hole in my wall, it looks like it came from the other unit, and they search and they find in the attic a bullet case or a bullet, they're going to consider that an emergency to go in and see what's going on.
Yeah, but don't they have to call and say, hey, we're going in?
Well, they said they did, and I understand you didn't get the call, and I don't have phone records from both sides to see whether it was made or not made.
I want to continue.
I mean, you got to understand my job too. I listen to everything.
No, I do.
Make a decision.
I totally understand this. Just
Mr. Zinman?
Your Honor, I have no further questions for the witness.
Anything else?
I guess I would say that if they want them to move, if they would give them until June 30th,
At least,
Well, that ship has sailed because you wanted a hearing. I don't know what they're willing to do at this point or not. Okay? They may still give more time. I don't know. It depends on what I do here.
and she's gonna end up homeless with 2 kids.
Well, again,
I know. You're bound. It's not your.
I wish there were times I could look at more than I'm allowed to look at. Anything else, Mr. Zinman?
But just closing, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, under 133107, it's an illegal discharge of a weapon is a felony within the state of Arizona. In this case, not only do we have the concern of the felony, we obviously, more importantly, have the risk of the safety to other residents, as well as the liability for my client. If my client were not to take action and this were to happen again, obviously that puts my client in severe risk of being sued as well for that liability. What the case comes down to ultimately is a fact issue for this court as to the credibility of the witnesses. The defendant's entire position is that they don't know when this happened. It could have happened at any point, and it was just being reported now. However, we have the resident from 106 that testified they came home, found a bullet hole in their wall, found it going through the attic, and then found the bullet itself. They called the police came out, the police went to Unit 107, spoke to the defendant, and the defendant chose not to let them into their unit. If there was nothing to see, at that point, I'd be more concerned if I was the defendant to say, well, how is that even possible that they had a bullet hole come through that didn't come from their unit? And she should be concerned as well, but that didn't happen. She simply denied access to the police to do their own inspection. Given that the shot was not that at that time, there was nothing further that police could do on the criminal aspect of it. It comes down to the credibility of the witnesses. There's literally no benefit to any witness or plaintiff to lie as to the unit, to the resident 106, to the maintenance, to the management. Simply, they found the bullet hole. They had went and inspect. The trajectory shows that it came in from 107. Between the two witnesses, there's no dispute where that picture came from. Even if there was a different unit and this wasn't an end cap, then we could have a discussion. But there's no other unit besides 107 that bullet could come from. And what the defendant's entire position is here today is, well, we have nobody know that when it actually was shot, and therefore they can't testify to it. To me, that's not a weakness in the plaintiff's case. That's frankly lucky for Unit 106 that they weren't home when the bullet went through their wall, and they actually found the bullet as well. The pictures demonstrate the velocity of the picture, the trajectory of the bullet, and the fact of where it came. And you can see on the other unit, on the other wall, the inside, as to the damage it coming through as well. We did not submit the pictures of the patching, as the patching I don't think is relevant, doesn't show anything. In fact, you can see the damage from through 106 into 107 is what we believe is important, because that's where the bullet entered the unit and obviously put the other resident at risk, which constitutes a breach of the crime-free addendum, and therefore we do believe that is an immediate, and we are seeking possession of the property. As to what we are seeking is just the rent. We are not seeking late fees, Your Honor.
Let me close.
Besides the fact that I do not own any firearms at all. I've never owned a firearm in my life. And I would not have a firearm. And from what the police did say, it was a high caliber firearm. I do not own one. I wouldn't have one around my 4-year-old and my 2-month-old. I have no need for one. So the fact that this is going this far and being blamed on me is a little ridiculous, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't own a firearm, nor do I have any use for one. There's no reason I would be running around my house with a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old with a gun in my hand. That's unsafe for everybody around.
You want to make a statement? No. Here's the issue I'm having. I just think you need to know. I understand you may not own a gun.
I understand that you may not own a gun. I may understand that you may not have a weapon of any type in your house as a general rule. But I have to balance that with the fact that I have pictures showing a hole, that the way the hole damage is shows that something came through the wall into your next door neighbor's unit, that the way that the drywall was split indicates it came through into theirs, not passing from theirs into yours. Because the damage is certainly outward, it's not inward. Yep. So when I look at that, I see clearly that something came from your unit. So if it wasn't for you, it was from somebody that was in your unit at the time. And it went from your unit through your neighbor's drywall up into the attic where they found a bullet. That's concerning to me on so many levels.
It is concerning.
So if wasn't you, then I don't know if someone, any of the relationships or who lives there, who doesn't live there.
There's no gun in my house. No one brings a gun into my house.
Somebody had to have had a gun based upon the testimony I've heard up to this point that had a gun in your house, and either you were there or you weren't, and it went off. Either accidentally or on purpose, it went off. Now, I'm assuming you weren't there because you'd have no reason to lie to me about being there or not, but somebody that was there, the gun went off, and it went into the unit next door. That's what I'm seeing, and that's really irrefutable to me because nothing else makes sense. It's not like something in the wall burst to where a part, a bolt, a nut, whatever, went flying. That didn't happen. The damage is indicative of something passing through the wall. When that trajectory was, in fact, looked at, they found a bullet. Yeah. That's the concern that I have. And I understand your concern because you probably didn't shoot it off.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm talking now.
I'm sorry.
When I say you didn't, probably didn't, I have no reason to believe that you did. But something also tells me that you may know who might have. I don't know. Because when the police did come, and yeah, you have the right not to let the cops in. I understand.
My kids were sleeping, and they completely understood that. They were like, we understand.
I understand that.
If you notice anything, give us a call.
But here's the thing that I don't understand.
Yes.
Is there'd be a hole in the unit somewhere. Now, they say they have photographs. I haven't seen it. I don't know whether there is or not. But I'm going to grant them a judgment. Mr. Zinman, since I don't know who fired the weapon, I'm going to give them the writ date of 5/22. You can make your argument now if you want. If you're talking, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll make the standing objection to it, but I understand that's the court's ruling.
Yeah. Basically what he's saying is he doesn't like my ruling, but I'm doing it anyway, which is probably more than what I should do.
This is more than enough time.
But I want to make sure you have... It's one thing if, you pointed to a guest and you let the guest in and you say, yes, this person did it. Okay, as long as that person wasn't there, I could do something different. But unfortunately, I'm giving you what I can because I don't believe you're the one that shot the weapon off.
Well, that's where it's kind of going with the whole time thing. We don't know when it was.
Yeah, no one knows when this happened.
Again.
Can I say one more thing? I mean, I know you did the judgment, but what if this happened like a year and a half ago?
Goodness.
And they're just now saying it because my neighbor did say something about arguments. We have had arguments. What if he's tired of it and this happened a fucking year ago? Sorry, excuse my language.
Yeah, we're not going to use that language.
I'm sorry, but what if this happened a year ago and they're getting tired of us arguing and they finally decided to do something about it?
Because the testimony established in my mind by preponderance of the evidence that it was a recent incident, not one that happened a year and a half ago. Ma'am, keep in mind the following. You have the absolute right to appeal my decision in this matter. Should you elect to do so, the staff can tell you what needs to be done. They cannot do the appeal for you.
Okay.
There are some adjustments I made to this. I am going to give the rent that's due, court costs, attorney's fees at that point for the total. I'm not going to give the rental concession at this point or notice fee. And the late fees, you obviously couldn't pay the rent when you're under notice to vacate anyway. Both sides have the right to appeal my decision. Should they want to appeal what I did, they can do that too. So anyway, staff will give you a copy of the notice, and if you want to appeal, they can tell you what needs to be done. Mr. Zimmerman, anything else in this matter?
Just for the record as well, Your Honor, we do object regarding the striking of the concession as well.
I understand. You certainly have the right to pursue that in regular civil if you'd like to. Any striking of it would simply be without prejudice and not with prejudice. So that means if they want to pursue it later, they can.
Okay.
That's basically all it means. I'm not eliminating them from being able to do so.
So With the 22nd as of right now.
As of right now, right. And if you want to file a notice of appeal to stay the writ date, there are certain bonds that would have to be posted. Again, the staff can tell you what needs to be done, what would need to be posted in order to be able to stay. But that's between you and whatever you want to do at this point.
To 11:59, the 22nd.
Thank you very much.
They can get a writ of thank you. Hold on, Mr. Zimmern. They get a writ of restitution on the 22nd, whatever that means. They can file for it on the 22nd. Whenever the constable comes out after that, it's up to the constable. Whenever the court signs it, gets the constable out there, that's any time the 22nd or thereafter. Okay?
So we should have until at least the end of that business day, hopefully.
I can't tell you whether you will, and I can't tell you whether you won't, ma'am.
Whatever we can.
All right, thank you. Mr. Zimmern, thank you. Anyone else on the line I've not talked to? More off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you look at these numbers? Were these consistent with what?
Yeah.
My computer versus one.
Yeah.
Have her take the recorder out. I am